If the painter wishes to see beauties that charm him, it lies in his power to create them, and if he wishes to see monstrosities that are frightful, ridiculous, or truly pitiable, he is Lord and God thereof. Painting is poetry that is seen rather than felt, and poetry is painting that is felt rather than seen. Study without desire spoils the memory, and it retains nothing that it takes in. A painter should begin every canvas with a wash of black, because all things in nature are dark except where exposed by the light. Once you have tasted flight, you will forever walk the earth with your eyes turned skyward, for there you have been, and there you will always long to return. Those who, in debate, appeal to their qualifications, argue from memory, not from understanding. The human bird shall take his first flight, filling the words with amazement, all writings with his fame, and bringing eternal glory to those whose nest whence he sprang. The painter has the universe in his mind and hands. It had long since come to my attention that people of accomplishment rarely sat back and let things happen to them. They went out and happened to things. Nothing strengthens authority so much as silence. It is an acknowledged fact that we perceive errors in the work of others more readily than in our own. The men of experiment are like the ant, they only collect and use, but the bee gathers its materials from the flowers of the garden and of the field, but transforms and digests it by a power of its own. If you find from your own experience that something is a fact and it contradicts what some authority has written down, then you must abandon the authority and base your reasoning on your own findings. I love those who can smile in trouble. One can have no smaller or greater mastery than mastery of oneself. Man has much power of discourse which for the most part is vain and false, animals have but little, but it is useful and true, and a small truth is better than a great lie. Nothing can be loved or hated unless it is first understood. As a well-spent day brings happy sleep, so life well used brings happy death. I have from an early age abjured the use of meat, and the time will come when men such as I will look upon the murder of animals as they now look upon the murder of men. The greatest deception men suffer is from their own opinions. There are three classes of people: those who see when they are shown, those who do not see. The function of muscle is to pull and not to push, except in the case of the genitals and the tongue. Learning never exhausts the mind. I have been impressed with the urgency of doing. Knowing is not enough, we must apply. Being willing is not enough, we must do. It is easier to resist at the beginning than at the end. The deeper the feeling, the greater the pain. Iron rusts from disuse, stagnant water loses its purity, and in cold weather becomes frozen. Even so, does inaction sap the vigors of the mind. Where the spirit does not work with the hand, there is no art. Time stays long enough for those who use it. The time will come when men such as I will look upon the murder of animals as they now look on the murder of men. I have offended God and mankind because my work didn't reach the quality it should have. Realize that everything connects to everything else. Intellectual passion drives out sensuality. All our knowledge has its origin in our perceptions. He who wishes to be rich within a day will be hanged within a year. All sciences are vain and full of errors that are not born of experience, the mother of all knowledge. A poet knows he has achieved perfection, not when there is nothing left to add, but when there is nothing left to take away. Blinding ignorance does mislead us. O wretched mortals, open your eyes. He who loves practice without theory is like the sailor who boards ship without a rudder and compass, and never knows where he may cast. He who possesses most must be most afraid of loss. My body will not be a tomb for other creatures. In rivers, the water that you touch is the last of what has passed, and the first of that which comes, so with present time. Why does the eye see more clearly when asleep than the imagination when awake? Art is the queen of all sciences, communicating knowledge to all the generations of the world. Marriage is like putting your hand into a bag of snakes, in the hope of pulling out an eel. The mind that engages in subjects of too great variety becomes confused and weakened. I awoke only to find that the rest of the world was still asleep. Truth at last cannot be hidden. Dissimulation is of no avail. Dissimulation is to no purpose before so great a judge. Falsehood puts on a mask. Nothing is hidden under the sun. Anyone who conducts an argument by appealing to authority is not using his intelligence, he is just using his memory. The acquisition of knowledge is always of use to the intellect, because it may thus drive out useless things and retain the good. For nothing can be loved or hated unless it is first known. Many have made a trade of delusions and false miracles, deceiving the stupid multitudes. As every divided kingdom falls, so every mind divided between many studies confounds and saps itself. The worst evil which can befall the artist is that his work should appear good in his own eyes. We must doubt the certainty of everything which passes through the senses, but how much more ought we to doubt things contrary to the senses, such as the existence of God and the soul? Truly man is the king of beasts, for his brutality exceeds them. We live by the death of others, we are burial places.